On global launch, there's going to be 2 banners that you could summon on. The first one is going to be the Clover Academy Season 1 Asta, Yami, and Mimosa banner, and the second one is going to be the red Yami banner. Now the question is, for many people, who do you summon on? What do you summon on? Of course, many people want to save for the future, but also still have a start to the account. So the first thing I want to make sure to say is that you guys should summon on one of these banners because of the fact that you need dupes for SRs and rares to trade for stamina and skip tickets in the shop, mainly for stamina. And getting the stamina, especially early on, is very important. So being able to use SR dupes for SRs that obviously aren't that good is going to be quite worth it, and I think that it's recommended for that. And also just to start building your account, getting units like Rhodes, Mars, right, Lotus, William, stuff like that. So you do want to summon on one of these 2 banners, but also while knowing that I'm going to talk about it more later, that these 4 units should be coming out within a week or 2 after the game launches. My guess is either a week. I'm going to say 2 weeks. I'm going to say 2 weeks, but it honestly might be a week. We're going to have to see how that all goes. But overall, these are the 2 banners that you could summon on launch. So let's go over to the Canada version and start talking about all of the units. Let's start with Red Yami. So we're going to talk about Red Yami, then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on who you should summon for. Now before I go into it, I do want to say that you are able to pick one of the 3 seasonals for free from the Gateway of Reunion that you will be able to see here. You have the key given to you for the first time you play, right, for free. And then obviously in the future, you're going to be getting it through the advanced missions and clearing all of them, right, which takes 30 days to clear. Now after that, obviously you just keep on getting it every season, but month 1, season 1, you're going to be getting it for free, and you're going to be able to choose one of the 3 seasonals between Yami, Asta, and Mimosa. So that's just something I wanted to mention. So it means you don't have to summon on all 3. Now Red Yami is a pickup, and the thing is with pickup banners is that after their banner leaves, they are immediately put into the unfeatured pool forever. So if we go to KR right now, we recently just had the other units being put in. So for example, Fauna and Witch Queen's banner just ended, and right now we don't have any banners, but right now they are already put into the unfeatured pool. So you see that the unfeatured pool is much bigger than what you will see. Both Vetos, Lich, Kyoto, Kahono, Yuno, Yami too, right? So all of them will be going over time on the unfeatured. So if you don't pull them right away, it's fine. You got to realize that all pickups, all the ones with the like purple backgrounds or red backgrounds depending, are going to be in the unfeatured unless said otherwise. Someone like Julius and Black Asta will not be in the unfeatured pool as they are limited time pickup banners. There's a difference. So let's start getting into what Yami actually does. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say. So Yami's main kit revolves around his skill 1, where he applies bleed. Now this bleed will be an AoE, and that is very strong because of the fact that he is mainly a counter unit, especially after his buff to his dupes, which we'll talk about after. Now, why this is very good in terms of applying the bleed is that it's going to work in tangent with the skill 2, but let's talk about it. So it's very easy to apply the bleed because all you need is to land a crit. Now the thing is with Yami, he attacks 8 times in total, which is how you want his skill 1 to be, because of the fact that if you're attacking 4 people, that's 4 hits, then another 4 hits. Now usually you will also be getting a crit out of one of those 4 hits because you're going to build them with some crit rate at the very least, so you're going to get that bleed. Now I guess you can't get bleed here, but let's say if you do on the skill 2, if there's a bleed on the enemy, you stun, guaranteed. So obviously this bleed goes on everyone for 2 turns, which means the turn after you are able to apply the stun, and then if you're attacking a boss, you also get a 30% damage increase. Now what's also very interesting about this Red Yami specifically is that we are given his skill page for free on global launch. It's just going to be in the mail. So his skill page is going to buff his skill 2 and also obviously give him the passive. So Red Yami's skill page, what does it do? So it adds 10% increased crit damage for each DOT the enemy is taking. So usually this will be from like 10% to 30% increased crit damage, which is pretty good. And he does give himself 2.5% crit rate per time an ally attacks, up to 12.5% at 0 dupes. So you're gonna get the crit rate and the crit damage, which makes it a pretty good skill page for him. Maybe not the best in all cases, but overall is nice. Now for the skill 2, it is a very strong skill against bosses, especially when you put it together with the enhancement dupe. So yeah. Now then the alt is going to be increasing his crit rate by 18% for 2 turns, which is very strong. And then you have a chance to apply the bleed with a 240% alt multiplier. It's very good and can do very good damage, especially if you have this. Now the dupe passive did change. it is now at enhancement level 2, which is 2 dupes, going to be 14% increased damage dealt. And then at max dupe, it's going to be adding that every wave he gets a counterattack. And a wave is going to be, in PvP it's only once, but then in PvE content usually there's 3 waves of bosses or of enemies, so it's going to reapply it 3 times. So his dupe 5 is very good, but his dupe 2 also makes it so that he has 14% here and then 30% here. So on his skill 2, he's doing an extra 44% damage to bosses, which is a very strong thing to do. And then obviously this is giving him extra crit damage, which I think honestly makes him overall to be a pretty good unit. You're going to usually build him in a combo type of team. And what's fun now is that you don't need to use William damage reduction turn 1 because of the fact that he's already going to give himself counterattack on that turn. So it's good. Now, should you summon for Red Yami, I think he is not a bad option. And for PvE wise, he will be good. PvP, he will also be good. But I think that if you are going to use him, you have to invest in him. But if you do invest in him, the thing is, he is not long term. This guy is still going to fall off pretty quickly. But we will have to see. Maybe his counterattack is going to be a lot better, but I do not think so because it does not give him any other crit damage with it. So Red Yami, I believe, is someone who you shouldn't really pull for, in my opinion, right? Because of the fact that well, obviously he is going to be good. Now the thing is, one thing that I think I should mention to kind of maybe influence your decision otherwise is that in Hall of Illusions, one of the main PvE contents that they will update at some point, he is very good because he has this guaranteed stun. So there is that to mention. And in any future Hall of Illusions and future content, we can imagine that this stun will be very good because you can guarantee the bleeds. And there is other Yamis coming, but the next Yami after him in the season 1 is very far into the future. Should be season 7 or 8. We're going to get confirmation on that tonight. But this Yami is nice and is good against bosses, which is very good, especially in the Hall of Illusions. Now, of course, in PvE grinding, he is the best, but of course we have the dispatch system now. But if you want him and you are not sure, I think you can go for him. But you got to know that the season 1 banner is very good. Okay, the season 1 banner is extremely good because you have 3 units that are all really good and they're different colors, so they help complete different teams. Now you get one of them for free. The way I suggest going about it is pulling a bit, getting one of them, and then choosing the other one. And then if you, obviously you're allowed to reset, so let's say you pull 2 out of the 3, then you could repick the other one to make it 3 out of the 3 owned. So obviously you can't use 2 Yamis on the same team, which kind of does suck. Now what Yami does is basically he is a bit of a debuffer with decent damage. Now his ult is going to be applying total silence, which means they can't use their skill 2 or ultimate, which is very good. Then the it also applies SP -3. SP -3 will stop him from using the ult, anyone from using the ult, and then at level 5 it's going to be SP -4, which then makes it that they can't use the combo, because the combo, if you use Yami's ult first turn, let's say, the combo skill needs 6 SP points, and if you have 8 and you're taking 3 away, they're going to get back up to 6, so they could end up using the combo. But if you're minusing 4, they can't get back up to 6, which makes it a lot better, and you're basically disabling them completely from only using skill 1, and it's very strong. Now damage wise, it's not the best, but it's still decent. The skill 2 is very strong. It gives him an SP buff, which is good, and then it also applies HP recovery immunity, which is good against the seasonal Mimosa because she's very annoying, so it's good to have this. And then skill 1 is going to apply to all attack increase if he has 4 or more SP. Now his LR passive is going to be 15% increased favored damage, which is when you're type advantage, so you're doing an extra 15%, which is why he's going to be good in the early meta. But the minute Riot Lich comes out, usually he kind of fell off in both JP and also Canada. Now they changed obviously his dupe passive 2 to be 10% damage dealt at 2 dupes, and then when you're max duped at 5 dupes, it's going to be giving him 1 SP every time he attacks. So I'd say between the 2 Yamis, at max dupe, this Yami will end up becoming better because of the fact you'll be able to spam his ult a lot more, because you use ult turn 1 and then turn 2 you're using this, right? So okay, well, let's start. Turn 2, you have your ult to use, you're at 0 out of 8, then you get 2 out of 8 if you have the talent that also gives the pass, or the what's it called, the extra SP. Then you're getting to 3 out of 8, then you're getting to 4 out of 8 because you're max duped on this, so 4 out of 8, right? And then turn 2 you're getting to 6 out of 8, turn 3 you're getting to 8 out of 8. It's very good. Turn 3 after you use ult. So you're going to be able to spam ult a lot more, which is going to help for PvE content and potentially for PvP content. And this Yami will be quite good. But because he's blue and Riot Lich come out soon after, there's going to be that for you guys to note. But I think that this Yami is decent, but definitely not that good. I'd say this red Yami is better, but he is not needed anymore because of the fact that you're able to just pick red Asta, and then for the PvE red team, that's basically all you need, as long as you manual, because of the fact that the dispatch system makes it so you don't need to auto runs anymore. But if you auto runs red Yami, the thing is, red Yami will be good if you have to auto red runs, because of the fact that the dispatch system might be like the other systems in the game compared to JP, where on Canada you actually need to be above the CC requirement, where if you're below on JP you don't need to auto it. So if the dispatch system is like that, then red Yami might be more useful to you than red Asta, but we're gonna have to see. Now red Asta, since we're talking about him so much, is the best PvP unit, right? This PvP unit is really good because he has 3 single targets that all do really good damage. And on his ult, he gets an extra turn when he's attacking someone who's above 80% HP, which means at the very bare minimum, he could get 1 guaranteed kill. And against bosses, he's doing good damage. So for bosses, he's probably better than red Yami. And then there's also the fact for raid bosses who can't be stunned, he's better than red Yami. And then obviously for PvP, he is better than red Yami if you fully build him. So out of the 3, the one you want to invest in the most from the ones we talked about so far, but also including Mimosa, the one you want to invest in the most is red Asta, right? Because max duped, he gets up to 109 speed, and every other DPS on launch is at 103 speed, right? So getting up to 109 speed is very strong because he's going to be attacking much quicker than most other units in the game, not even just DPSs. So out of the 3, if you're really going to pull on one banner, it's going to be to really chase him, right? Now, obviously, red Yami is not a bad banner to summon on. It's just that you're missing out on Season 1 units that won't really be returning for a while, which is the main problem with all of that, right? Now, red Asta does have on his skill 2 increased chance to give him mobility, which also is very strong because of the fact that he is going to be attacking quicker with it. 20% mobility is very strong. Then on the skill 1, he could get an extra attack and then give himself a little increased damage dealt stack. And he does remove barriers on combo, so that's nice. And then he also gets 4% increased attack per turn, which is good, and it cannot be removed, so that's strong. And then on the dupes, you get increased attack at the start of a wave for 2 turns. Now it's going to be 2 turns, and then at max dupe, it's going to be you get stun block for 1 turn at the start of a battle. So this Asta cannot be stunned. He's going to have very high attack, and he won't really fall off. Out of all the units we're talking about, red Asta falls off very slowly, but Mimosa doesn't fall off at all. So Mimosa, the reason why is because she has triple heal, all being very good, and this extending effect of the debuff of buffs, right, by 1 turn. And then her ult increases defense while also giving a resurrection and healing basically always for a full heal. So this Mimosa is very good, okay? Her heals are insane. She has a res, which makes her very good. Now, I keep on saying this, but the way it works is basically like you either target Mimosa and then the other people attack you, or you attack the other people and then Mimosa reses them. So it's very strong. Now hers went up to 10% reduced damage taken at dupe 2, which is pretty good. And then max duped, it went up to basically well, no, it went up to, but basically you get 1 SP every time you attack, but she only has 1 attack skill, so I'm a bit confused on the wording. And overall, this Mimosa is going to basically stand the test of time. So I'd say overall you should be summoning on the Season 1 banner because they are more worth it. And red Yami will be on the unfeatured pool after 2 weeks of his banner coming out, which makes it quite good overall. Now, all 3 of these units have their uses, and especially if you get blue Yami, you won't have any need to summon on Fauna or Vettel's banner that comes out, and it will be pretty good. And you get 2 good DPSs overall that could help you until Noelle comes out, right? Noelle, but the thing is with Noelle is that you could pick her for free, and the other 2 units you don't need, but still gonna be pretty good. So I recommend overall to most people starting to summon on the Season 1 banner. It will be better, right? Now, the thing is, there's another pro with red Yami's banner that isn't really talked about, but it's the fact that on a rate up banner, there's another 0.5% chance for the unfeatured, which might be better for some people because of the fact that you might want to pull Mars, Lotus, Rhodes, right, if you don't have them. So that is one thing. If you are missing a lot of unfeatured, you might want to consider pulling on the actual Yami's rate up banner, or both. If you want to go both, fuck it. But I'd say if you want to pick one and then save, definitely pick seasonals. Now let's talk about the future. Obviously, we mentioned that the Midnight Sun is going to be coming, and they should be coming out within 2 weeks. On Canada, they came out 2 weeks after, but I could see it happening even sooner. So just to show you guys, these are the 4 units. Fauna and Veta will be on their dual banner, and then Raya and Lich. So I don't want to fully go into them, but just to say, Raya and Lich will be meta for PvP for a while, and even once Noelle does come out, they will be usable. So pulling for them is not bad, but overall, Raya is just going to be good permanently because of his nuking potential. He is way better than Red Asta in single target. Now Vettel did get a buff, which could be good, but overall he's not needed, but he is still going to be very good. And Fauna is also going to be good for grinding, but if you're summoning on the season 1 banner, which you should be, then you won't need these two at all. And then as for these two, I'd say you should be summoning overall, just also to complete your green team, which I'm just going to say there's not many options on launch, which is why it's kind of smart that they waited to release these, because it's like you kind of need green units after 2 weeks for sure. So you guys want to make sure that you guys have enough for Raya and Lich, in my opinion. But even if you get just one of them, the goal is to get one of them. Now what's cool about dual rate up banners is that they're both on one banner, first of all, and also they're both at 1%. So the unfeatured rate is only 0.5%. But now you have 2 units that you can pull for, both at 1%, where normal pickups only have 1%, but of course 1.5% unfeatured. So there is that to kind of consider. But yeah, these guys will be coming out, and they are going to be very good for the most part. Fauna, amazing grind unit. Raya and Lich are going to be good PvP, PvE for a bit. Or, well, sorry, PvP for a bit, and then PvE pretty much forever. And they are still usable to this day on Canada. And unless they do some weird stuff, they will be usable for a while, until maybe like season 3 or 4 around, I'd say. Even after Julius comes out, you could still use them if you're going on a full speed team and you really have them built out. They're going to be good. So I really do recommend not pulling on Red Yami unless you're missing like a bunch of unfeatured, because it's just one unit, where season 1 banner could give you 3 units, and Red Asta's skill page is very good. So there is that to consider in all of this. But I hope this video helped you, and let me know what you guys are gonna summon for. You also got to consider that you should work around how you pull and how you choose your Gateway of Destiny, right? Because depending on who you pull, then obviously it's going to change for your Gateway of Reunion, Gateway of Destiny, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, personally, I'm going to be summoning for both, because obviously content creator, but you guys summon for whatever you want. Have fun, but I would recommend the season 1 banner.